What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna do a pick video. Now, what I'm gonna do is last week I did the pick using Playoff Predictor, but for this week on, I'll be doing my on the ESPN pick'em. So I'll be picking up the games. So without further ado, let's talk about what the games are. Now, I already did the Thursday Night Football. If you haven't watched the video, go ahead and check it out. I picked the Packers to win, and yeah, the Packers have won, which is pretty easy. I'm gonna do game reviews after all the games are done. But yeah, so first off, we got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I do think the Bengals they have a really rough start to the season. They beat the Browns, but um, but they really should not won this game. The Browns should have really won, but the Browns they missed field goals, a lot of mistakes. But the Jaguars they have a good win against the Carolina Panthers, but I'm actually gonna pick so who I'm gonna pick. I'm actually gonna pick the Cincinnati Bengals. I do think the Bengals are the better team, and I just think that that there are the way better team than the Jaguars. The Jaguars are improving, but I'm gonna say the Bengals. Obviously, you got the better quarterback. You got the better offense overall. Defense is kind of iffy. Maybe they might be around the Jaguars, but I'm gonna say the Bengals are gonna win that game. So we got the New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. Both of these teams did not really play that good, to be honest. But I'm gonna go. The Giants did not play good. The offense did not play good. The Cowboys came relatively close to beating the Eagles. Rolling City Limb didn't even drop the ball. These two balls in my one, but I'm actually gonna pick the Cowboys to win. I just don't think the Giants are anything good. Although I do see some people picking the Giants. I will see. I think the offense could get better, but it was an ugly Week 1 loss. So I'm just gonna pick the Cowboys, and then of course you got the Ben Johnson returning to Detroit, which it should be an interesting game. Not gonna lie, the Bears they should have really won the game. I really thought they were gonna be 0-1, and it looks like they were, but they choked the game away. But um, I thought the Vikings are gonna have a slump, but I guess not. But this is only Week 1 though. But so I'm gonna say. And the Lions, they come off with an oh so brutal loss. They even really came close to it, to be honest. But I'm gonna say the Lions are gonna win. I mean, they kind of have to win this because otherwise things are looking really bad if they lose to the Bears. There's really no reason why you shouldn't really lose. Although the Bears, if they can get their act together, maybe then maybe they can put much of a fight. But we'll see. Rams versus Titans. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I do think the Titans are in the rebuilding mode. I mean, I never really see a lot of people picking the Titans to win, but the Rams it is a little bit. It's a question mark there, but about Matthew Stafford. But other than that, um, it's a really good offense. Like I said, it's up to Matthew Stafford's health. But can he stay healthy? Can he stay healthy the entire season? We'll see. But I'm gonna say, but hopefully he stay healthy. And if he stay healthy, then I do think this is one of the most dangerous team to play in the NFL. The Titans, obviously, you got Cam Ward. He played okay for what I consider. He played fine as a rookie, but it's gonna be a lot of growing pains with the Titans. The Titans also I don't really trust their head coach either. Brian Callahan makes some stupid decisions. They could have called that. They could have challenged the play, which you can't, which you didn't. So it is really not a good look for Brian Callahan. I think he might get fired. I'm mistaken, but I'm gonna say the Rams are gonna win. Okay, this is gonna be an interesting game. You got the New England Patriots versus the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins went off a 33-8 loss to the Colts, which is a very bad loss. But and the Patriots, they didn't do. They didn't really play good as well. They showed some flashes here and there, but they didn't play really good. Um, so what I'm gonna have. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about it, but it's really tough because the Patriots, they're gonna play in Miami. This is gonna be a pretty, and the Patriots, they never win in Miami for whatever reason. Ever since, ever since, you know, 2020, 2021, around 2019, since Tom Brady, ever since Tom Brady leaves, left, it always seems like the Patriots never wins in Miami. But but then again, the Dolphins are really bad. They didn't play really good. So I'm gonna pick the Dolphins, but this might be my lot. But if they lose again, then I probably would not even pick them for anytime soon. We'll see, but it looks really bad for the Dolphins right now. They really need to bounce back. The Patriots kind of needs to bounce back too, but at least there's some growing pains with the Patriots. For the Dolphins, nothing's looking good so far. Maybe they're really close to into like a rebuild mode or something. Um, the 49ers versus the New Orleans Saints. Now, these two teams, I do think they're really close because, 49ers got injured. Now, if they were fully healthy, then I would definitely pick the 49ers to win and probably even dominate, but George Kittle is out. Brandon Ayuk probably is not going to play, and Brock Purdy probably not going to play too. Brandon Ayuk might be out for at least like 4 to 5 weeks. Not and George Kittle as well. Brock Purdy, I don't know how long it's gonna be out really. Probably like 2 weeks or maybe might come back next week. We'll see. But I'm gonna pick the 49ers, but I can see the Saints winning because um, it's really questionable how healthy it is. I do think they really kind of have to go 2-0 though because um, to to go to put up the leg more because they're injured. So why not start 2-0 and try to finish it for them. The Bills versus the Jets. The Jets offense played fine. They played really good. They played pretty good actually. And then the Bills, um, the Bills, they won. I'm gonna pick the Bills. That amazing comeback was really good, and I'm gonna pick the Bills. The Jets offense could do good, but I think the Oh god, I do think they're gonna be the Bills are gonna win big. The Seahawks versus the Steelers. This it's a pretty interesting game, to be honest. But it is a coin toss. I can see either of these two teams win. I'm actually gonna go with the Seahawks. I do think this is gonna be more of a defensive battle, but ultimately I do think the Seahawks will knock off an edge over the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I won't be surprised if the Steelers win. This is an interesting matchup. Um, I'm gonna go to Ravens. The Browns, they came so close to winning last week, but they should have won. But now they're gonna be facing against the Ravens, who choked the lead. But it would be very interesting. The Broncos versus the Colts. The Colts have an amazing game against the Dolphins. So we'll see how it's gonna go. The Broncos, the offense didn't play good. But it's going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm actually going to go with the Colts. I do think that, earlier on in the season, I do think that they're going to be red hot. But although I do think later on in the season, they're going to eventually be cooled down. But I do think that the Broncos, last week, the Broncos didn't really play good. They won, but I know a win's a win. But at the same time, that was not a good win, to be honest. So I'm actually going with the Broncos here. The Cardinals versus the Panthers. I saw one post that says that the Panthers recently keep on beating the Cardinals, which is very interesting. I think they were like 5-1 in the last 6 games, I believe. And their only loss was in 2022. I remember that game. That was a disaster game. But anyways, moving on. We got the Panthers. This is a huge disappointment for the Panthers. But I do think they might play better, but I'm gonna pick the Cardinals to win this game. Although I won't be surprised if the Panthers win, um, because upsets can happen. You never know. But I'm gonna say the Cardinals are gonna win. They are the better team. The Eagles versus the Chiefs, the Super Bowl rematch and the potential revenge game for the Chiefs. The Eagles coming off a pretty good win against the Cowboys, and then the Chiefs, um, they lost against the Chargers in Brazil. So it's gonna be a Super Bowl rematch. My gut told me it's the Chiefs that's gonna be in the revenge. They're gonna take their revenge against the Eagles. They faced against like I guess like 5 years in a row, which is interesting. But yeah, it's very interesting. So the 5 in a row because they played in 2021, they won in the 2022 for the Super Bowl, then 2023, 2024, and then this year. So there's 5 straight seasons they're gonna face against each other, either in the regular season or playoffs. So it's very they've been playing a lot of each other lately, but I'm gonna pick the Chiefs to win this game. The Falcons versus the Vikings. Um, in the first half, JJ McCarthy didn't play good, but the second half he played pretty solid. And the Falcons again, Michael Penix Jr. He played good, but the team didn't do well. So, but I'm actually gonna pick the Falcons to win. I do think Michael Penix Jr. is gonna have a great game over. I do think the Vikings. You know, I don't know. I'm still not sure about JJ McCarthy. I know so many people say, "Hey, JJ McCarthy is for real." Well, it's just one game, so just hold your horses there. You remember? I do think last year with the Bears, you know, eh, they saw like 4-2, and then they went 4-13, something like that. They look right here, and Anthony Richardson last year he played really good in the first game, but he struggled the rest of the game. So game one doesn't always dictate much, but I'm gonna say the Falcons are gonna win. The Buccaneers versus the Texans. I'm gonna pick the Texans to win. I do think they will have a bounce back win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Um, I just think the Texans are the better team over a team like the Buccaneers. I do think on paper, but the offensive line is pretty bad. The Buccaneers are a really good team as well, but I do think that the ceiling, the Texans have a higher ceiling than the Buccaneers, but I'm gonna say the Texans are gonna win even, and let's see how the offensive line is gonna go. And the Chargers, and then you got the other Monday Night Football game, which is freaking 7 p.m. in my time, which is 10 p.m. Eastern time, which is freaking crazy. I don't know why did they do this because you got people from the East Coast that has to go to work or school, and they may want to watch the game, but probably but they can't. I don't know why, but I guess it is how it is. The Chargers versus the Raiders. The Raiders come up with a pretty not not a great win, but a solid win against Patriots, and the Chargers coming off a really good win against the Chiefs in Brazil. Obviously, this is gonna be an interesting game, but if I have to pick, I'm gonna pick the Chargers to win that game. I do think that Justin Herbert is gonna have a career year. I really am high on the Chargers. Last week I said that I'm really high on the Chargers. I do think that there are contenders. Actually, I don't know about Super Bowl contenders, but I do think that they can make some serious noise in the postseason this year, and yeah. So that is it. So how many total scores would be scored in Chargers versus Raiders? So if I'm gonna pick how many scores, very interesting. I picked the Chargers to win. So if I had to pick, probably would be um 20. Hold on, 24-18. That's probably gonna be my score. So I'm gonna say 38 will be the answer. So yeah, guys. So thank you guys for watching this video. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.